Life is so busy. If you blink, you can miss something amazing. It's important to take a moment and enjoy what we have and the people around us. I'm Mo Hagan, Chief Operating Officer for CanFit Pro, and welcome to A Moment with Mo, a podcast where I will welcome some incredible guests to talk fitness and nutrition, mindset and self-empowerment, setting our goals into action, and much, much more. Now let's get chatting. Hello and welcome to A Moment with Mo. I'm Mo Hagan. I'm your host, and this is a show where we get to celebrate the stories of extraordinary humans who inspire us all to move beyond what we think is possible. We have another incredible episode coming your way, and I have the privilege of speaking with exceptional leaders in every one of these episodes, but today is extra special for so many reasons you're about to find out. And as I say, I love talking to these amazing humans because you will find that exceptional leaders are generous with sharing their stories, their insights, lived experiences, and all in effort to help us understand how important it is to inspire others through the work that you do, through the purpose that you live, and the passion that you share, so that we all can develop the courage and the confidence and the inspiration through the stories to light that spark and help us all do what we're meant to do in this one precious life. And I want to say that, it's not just the stories, it's what's said, not only in the story, but those subtle insights and lessons. And that's what I especially love about today's episode, because I have known this individual for decades. And this woman is generous, such a passion that this guest shares. And so today's guest, I want to say, before I announce who it is, truly embodies the belief that passion, purpose, and may I add, perseverance teaches us how we can transform not only our own life, but those around us, family, friends, communities, and the world at large. So I have had the privilege of knowing the one and only Surria Fadel for many years, actually decades, dating back to our time together in the group fitness industry and specifically at Good Life Fitness. This wonderful human, Surria, was a group fitness instructor, award-winning, I might say, personal trainer, coach, and pain management therapist. And I've known Surria, and I know that her mission has always been helping people transform their lives through movement, through confidence, and through better health. All the things that we have and share in terms of collective passion and purpose in the world today. Even then, she's had the remarkable gift of connecting people. I have to say that Surria has this unique ability to walk into every room and light this contagious spark. It's her generous spirit, her unwavering commitment to serving others. And I know you're going to hear a fabulous story about just that. So before I invite Surria Fadel, I just want to tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. I mentioned her incredible journey through the fitness industry. And what she learned there has sort of set her apart from others in terms of her ability to create success in everything that she does. She's moved on from a fitness pro to a serial entrepreneur. And in 2015, along with her 16-year-old son and now business partner, Ameen, Surria has co-founded Cedar Valley, a grassroots Canadian food company built on the belief that healthy, authentic, and delicious food could bring people together and support well-being. Fast forward a decade, this scrappy founder has transformed Cedar Valley into one of Canada's fastest emerging brands, most popular emerging brands, from opening their own manufacturing facility to earning national recognition to stepping onto Dragon's Den, securing a $1 million investment from Arlene Dickinson. Surria's journey is a powerful reminder that it's never too late to begin again. Her achievements include numerous awards. I mentioned one, but the latest one is the 2026 All Women Lead Female Entrepreneur of the Year. What I admire the most with Surria is not only what she has built, but how she has built it with heart, with humility, with courage, and with an unwavering commitment to lifting others up as she climbs. Whether she's mentoring women entrepreneurs, giving back to her community, creating opportunities for others, Surria demonstrates every single day that true success is measured not only by what we achieve, but by the lives we impact along the way. So without further ado, please welcome to this episode, Surria Fadel.
Thank you, Mo. Incredible. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction.
Well, thank you. And I tell you, if there was an award for the most powerful stories that one could share in an introduction, then you just win it, because I think that's the most robust introduction. But I could not spare a piece of your bio, and I just had to share all of that. So thank you, my friend, for being here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. I'm super excited to be with you again. I mean, we've been together off and on for so many years, and to reconnect is just a wonderful feeling right now.
Wonderful feeling. And I won't make you do squats, but I do have to say to everybody listening or watching, I have never seen a person do the deeper squat the proper way and as many reps as one could do without looking like she's sweating an ounce.
Well, listen, I had a real good inspiration in you, Mo, everything that you've done to help all of the women in the fitness industry and believe in ourselves. And honestly, that whole experience, you pushed me and you helped me realize that no matter how I dress or how I look, I can do it on stage with everybody else. So you were a big part of that.
Well, you are most welcome. It's a gift. And you know it because you give it to so many other women and others, everyone in the work that you do. So it's really us paving it forward at this point, right?
Right.
Yeah. And I do have to say, and there is a story behind the squats and the sweat way back, but I do have to say it was a historical day because it is to this date was the hottest day in Canadian history, in which Surria and I filmed a exercise video, and we take the entire 6 hours or whatever it was to film. And I tell you, we didn't finish. And at the very end, I thought no one could get any lower. And I look over and there's you. You got lowest in the squats, but it lifted others up to say, I can squat that well too. So there you go. One of the many things you're famous for.
Oh, thanks, Mo.
All right, well, we're going to move out of fitness, but I do want to ask you a couple questions. And it does take us back to your experience in the fitness industry. It's when I first met you. And, you know, as someone so dedicated to helping others in their health through movement and wellness, you know, looking back, Surria, do you see a common thread between the coach you were then and the entrepreneur you are today? You know, what lessons from the fitness industry have you been able to bring to Cedar Valley and the food industry as you've navigated this new world and new industry yourself?
Yes, great question. You know, it was a natural transition for me, and happened very organically because of the fitness sector that I was in, and really trying to practice what I preached. And when I would coach members, I wanted to set an example of what fitness, health, wellness could look like. You know, we've all had our struggles. I had mine when I was younger with weight. And so to be able to stand on stage and let people know what you see now isn't what it used to be. And I'm not perfect. I had my own struggles that I had to work through. And fitness allowed me to do that and become a better version of myself. And so that example was, I was able to use my own example to translate that to my members and really try and coach them to believe in themselves. It was all about, nobody cares what you look like right now. The most important thing is you're here, you're trying, you're making that effort. There's no judgment. Let's help you get to that place that you want to be. So, and we did it through fitness. I'm not going to lie. I happened to start taking some of those dressing samples to my members at the gym to have them taste test.
Yeah, I remember.
Right? And so they were my guinea pigs at the time that I was making that transition into the food industry. But those lessons I learned in coaching, because obviously becoming a fitness instructor isn't just something you step on stage and do. Good Life gave us a lot of education and coaching training to help those members become who they want to be and achieve success through fitness. So all those coaching skills that I learned, the listening skills that I learned to really listen to my members and help them get through whatever, moments that they're needing to get through and overcome. One of the biggest things that I learned as a personal trainer at Good Life, which really helped me in this industry, is overcoming objections. Because when you are out in this world, this retail world, and going to meet with buyers in the retail industry, there's a lot of no's. There's a lot of rejection. So learning how to overcome that in fitness was really beneficial in the retail food industry. And I used to tell my son when he was 16, 17, going into retail chains, asking for these buyers who, middle-aged buyers to take on his product, our product. I always told him, no doesn't mean no. It just means not now. So just know that, don't ever give up because this retailer says no. Go back again, because at some point they're going to say yes. You just have to find the right moment in time, the right opportunity where they will take you in. And sure enough, it happened several times and it continues to happen.
Yeah.
So those are the little nuances as a fitness instructor coach that really helped us when we started, because neither one of us knew anything about the food industry, nothing.
Wow. And I love what you just shared. And I know that our listeners and viewers will love the whole redefining the word no to say not now. And you have a story we're going to tell later. We're going to maybe try to stretch it out of you about how you said no a few times and then somebody convinced you to say yes. And
listen to you.
You're exciting.
Yes.
I'll tell that later.
You will talk about that later. Yeah.
You have to stick around.
I got to keep the suspense up.
Yes, we got to keep the suspense. But I'll give you a hint, everyone. Something was dropped in that intro about stepping out of your comfort zone and saying yes and understanding that rejection will come. The question is who's rejecting who? But I'm not going to say anymore.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about the courage to begin again, because you have quite the epic journey, especially when we approach stages of life where we think maybe, are we at the stage where, we've reached our peak? Is it time about slowing down? You decided that you would take on one of the biggest risks of your life and start a company with your teenage son. And, a lot of people think, well, maybe I'm too late to do something like that. So what gave you the courage to begin something completely new? And what would you say to women who might be sitting on a dream, wondering if the opportunity has passed them by?
Yes. Loaded question. But it's interesting because when we started this business, my son had gotten a high school grant to start a business. And so he asked me for help because he needed my recipes and basically he didn't ever step foot in the kitchen. So he needed my help with the fattoush dressing and then the pita chips. So I looked at it as a high school project to start with. He was getting a lot of media, a lot of attention because of his youth. He was 16, starting a business, and a lot of people were coming, knocking on the door. We want to do a feature on him. And now we look back at all of that. And a lot of times he will tell people, I got that attention as a youth entrepreneur, but what about my mom at 52, starting over again and launching this business with him? And so just showing that whether you're 16 or 52, it's never too early and never too late. I learned at a very young age to embrace change. My dad was an entrepreneur. It was something I never wanted, but never say never. But he had several businesses. We would be in a different business any given day of the week. He would just change on a whim. We would go from being pretty comfortable one day in a nice house to having to, sell it and move into a smaller house. It was like a roller coaster ride. At 16 years old, my dad bought me a brand new car. When I got my license, I was so excited. And then 3 months later, he took it away because we couldn't afford the payments. So it was that kind of a lifestyle that we lived. A lot of risks, a lot of change. We moved around a lot in the city, but just, different houses.
Mm.
So I had to learn at a very young age that change is normal and risk taking is normal. That was so there's no stability in my life growing up. That's why I did not want a business when I got married. My husband said, let's start a business. I said, no, thank you. Been there, done that. I'll do the 9 to 5, go home, forget about my job until I have enough children where I can actually quit my job, become a stay-at-home mom,
Mhm.
and raise my kids, do the PTA, school lunches, all that kind of stuff, which I was able to do. But then when my youngest, Ameen, asked me for help, I couldn't say no. And plus all my kids were growing up at that point. So I was a little fortunate that way that I could put some more time into it. But to be honest, Mo, my intention at that stage in my life was fitness was going to be my retirement career. And I was not going to change that. But again, you just don't know where life is going to take you. And I did not see this coming. So I'm kind of going around a little bit about, with the question.
Yeah.
Really, I think it's so important for women to not put those barriers up for themselves and try not to overthink things too much and know what your passion is. If you have something that you're very passionate about, but you're afraid to try it, just look at what's the worst case scenario, right?
Yeah.
If it fails, okay, you go back to either what you were doing or try something different. So just try to, embrace that change is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, that it's going to happen. Change is going to happen no matter whether you like it or not. No one's ever, the one thing someone told me a saying not that long ago, that the one thing that is always going to change is change.
The most constant thing in life is change.
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So it's going to happen. Are you willing to take that risk? Why not? What really, if you don't do it now, when will you do it?
When will?
No regrets, right? If this business failed in the first year, then I would have stayed in fitness and kept doing my fitness career. So there's always another opportunity there waiting for you, but we get in our heads way too much and we're worried about what other people think of us and what will people say, or, will I be judged because I failed? Well, honestly, failure is part of it. And if anybody tells you they started a business and never failed, then they're lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the process.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, those are a lot of good mic drop nuggets there, my friend. Seriously, one, you've been blessed with a blueprint about change and entrepreneurialism, whether you liked it at the time or not. You had that ingrained in you from very early on, which truly I have found in my experience that the more challenges or obstacles, rejection that you get, the more resilient you become. You persevere. I added that to what I always talk about in terms of these incredible leadership stories of passion and purpose, but I added perseverance to yours because you have demonstrated just the perseverance, but you just shared. It's because, it's just understanding, having the wisdom to know that, so what if somebody has an opinion, or so what if you fail? The only way you actually fail is if you do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The only chances you have, but if you stop because you're afraid of failure, you'll never move forward.
Never. Right.
Yeah.
That's why I try to tell other female startups, the one thing you need to remember, always keep in mind, is failure is going to happen. It's how you deal with it. And trust me, there were times that I wanted to walk away when we had like thousands of dollars of wasted product. And it was those moments where I would just curl up in a ball and have a mental breakdown and cry and wonder, what the heck am I doing at my age working this hard? So it's not that those thoughts never crossed my mind or I never experienced those feelings. But there was one moment when I really felt like I was done and I just couldn't take it emotionally anymore, because we learned this from nothing. We were learning as we went along with it. all the regulations, all the things we had to do, how to scale up. When we were first with the dressings, we were driving 5-6 hours up the 401 to go to this government facility for a day to make 700 bottles of dressing in these big 250-liter vats. And there was one day when we made it, we ended up having to dump it all because it got contaminated. And I just walked outside that building and I couldn't deal with it. It was thousands of dollars of wasted. And we didn't have it at that time. That was at the very beginning, like 2018, I want to say, 2019 maybe. I just slid down the building outside by myself and just started crying.
And then what did you do?
My phone rang. My daughter called me, my oldest. And I'm telling her the story. And she's like, Mom, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the end of the road for you. You know, you gave it a good try. Maybe this is as far as it's going to go. But let me ask you one question. Why do you keep going day after day? And oh my God, it was like the aha moment. Ask me about my whys, which I never really thought about until that moment. And I said, because, as I'm bawling my eyes out, like, because every time we have a problem and I want to throw the towel in, someone will text me or email me. A mother will send me a video of her kids saying, thank you so much for making a healthy product. My kids eat vegetables because of your dressings. So it's always, Mo, every time, and whether it's Ameen or myself, every time we would have those really rough days where we're like, oh, the business is going to fail. Oh, I've had enough. I'm walking out the door and never turning around and coming back. I am telling you, without a doubt, every time that happens, we get a response from a customer, consumer saying, thank you for being you and for starting this company.
Oh,
how do you quit when you get feedback like that?
Exactly. When you get feedback like that, feedback is such a gift, even if sometimes you get feedback that is constructive. But when you get a thank you and how it's changed your life, it brings you right back to your why, your purpose. And there's nothing better than that just fuels you to get your butt off the ground, have a good cry, done, move on. Yeah.
Learn from it.
Wow. And learn from it. That's it.
Yeah. I don't want to make that mistake again. When we opened our facility in 2020 and again, not knowing how to navigate and the equipment and where do we spend money first? And again, with coconut oil, it's hilarious. Oh, there's so many stories, Mo, I could tell you. But stories, it's just,
coconut oil, and we might have to have a separate podcast just to talk about coconut oil and all the stories that came from that.
Yes. Yeah. I think so.
I'm going to ask you something. Speaking of a story, I did in your intro talk about one of your biggest challenges that you conquered was about being on Dragon's Den and your offer you received. I'd love you to share that, and then I'm gonna take a risk myself and ask you a follow-up question. But can you tell us about your experience and why you chose to say no?
Yes. So we appeared on Dragon's Den in 2023. Our goal was to get a deal with Arlene. So we went in with asking for $250,000 for 5% of the business. The scariest part about going on Dragon's Den is the pitch. We practice it over and over and over again. It's a minute long of the whole, time you're out there. But that was our biggest fear, was messing up on the pitch. Once we got through the pitch, we could breathe, we could relax, because we didn't care what they asked us. Ameen and I know the business. We've lived it. We've built it. So you can ask us any question we want and we can answer it with confidence. But that pitch, oh my God, I was a nervous wreck. So we get through it. We do our questions. We were out there for 45 minutes, even though you only see an 8-minute clip. So it depends on the business. They will keep you out as long as they want to ask their questions. And when Arlene came back at us and said, I will offer you, she loved the chips. She absolutely loved them. She kept saying, these are really good, you guys. And then she offered us $1 million for 20%. We were just elated. Like, I started to cry because I couldn't believe it. She's kept our valuation. That was the key, because a lot of people are like, oh, you gave up 20%. But what we didn't want to lower our valuation. And because she honored that and just multiplied it times 4, we were okay. We actually needed $1 million at that time, because we were building out our facility. So we accepted the offer. And but then, this was in May of 2023. By July, because they have to wait till they film the entire show, we were the very first business out of 160 to film. So we had to wait. Yeah, we had to wait until they finished all 160.
Oh, gosh.
And, yeah, it's a lot. So then they reached out to us in July, did the due diligence. They wanted to see our books to make sure we weren't, telling fibs on the show. We had to, obviously they don't know before when you go on the show what your business is. So they have to check all the finances and make sure you're legit. And by, I think, December, January, we had our final call with them where we told Arlene, you know what, we love you, but we are going to pass on the opportunity this time. We were fortunate enough to get government funding that covered what we needed, and it was an interest-free loan. We got to keep our company. So as hard as it was to say no to Arlene, it was a very difficult decision, trust me, because she's awesome. As hard as it was to say no, we said no to her and said, this is the reason why. One day in the future, we may need to call you up again and ask. And but for right now, we're going to keep our company family owned.
Wow. I got chills saying no to Arlene.
I know.
I hope you send your chips on a regular basis. But speaking of no, I heard a story about certain persons that were invited onto another reality show and said no a few times before somebody convinced you to say yes. Are you allowed to share what's coming very soon?
We were approached by producers of another reality TV show based on a video that popped up on their feed of our partnership with the OHL. So we actually are the official snack of the OHL. There was a video that kind of went viral about it. They saw it. And so they contacted us and said, we really like what we saw with you and your son. We would love for you to participate in this show. But the deadline to apply is 5 days from now. Cool. So yeah, we didn't have time. So we had to submit a video. It was pretty hilarious, actually. My son is hilarious. He's, if anything, after Cedar Valley, he should go into script writing and producing because he's just got so many crazy ideas. So we did this video, and but before I even agreed to the application process, I had to watch the show because I had never seen it before. I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm busy.
Who's got time? What all are you doing?
I was 16 hours a day. I don't have time to watch TV. And if the TV's on, my husband's watching either tennis, golf, or hockey. So it's usually sports on TV. Anyway, so I told my son, I said, before we commit to this, I need to see what the show is all about. So I watched a couple episodes and I said, I am absolutely not going to be on this show at 62 years old. So sorry, but this is not in my wheelhouse. It's totally outside of the box for me at my age. I am not going to be climbing up these, that's kind of giving it away. So all these crazy activities. And so then we had another conversation about it'll be so great for the business, the marketing exposure aspect. He's like, Mom, come on, you can do it. My daughter is the one who really convinced me to do it. She said to me one day, Mom, you have always told me that I can do whatever I want. I just have to give it a try. So I'm giving you your advice back at you. There is no reason why you can't do this. And she pointed out several reasons why, which I will not say because it will give away too much information. So they both convinced me. And then I went to my husband. I'm like, am I crazy? Like to even think about doing this? He's like, no, do it. You guys. So I had complete support from all, and the rest of my children, the other three, were ecstatic. And they're like, oh, come on, Mom, you got to do this. This is like, you'll kill it. You guys are going to win it. You're going to anyway. Yeah, they basically pushed me to do it. So I said, yes. Wow. Yeah.
All right, Surria, I am dying to know. Can you tell us more about what's coming?
All right. Mm-hmm. So I will reveal the secret. I will just preface it by saying it's Canada's favorite summertime TV show. and it's about a race across
Ooh.
Canada, and it's pretty darn amazing.
Ah, ah, ah. Now that's a
Amazing
way of
for
telling
Canada.
everybody. That's a way of telling everybody with getting them thinking. And I think we all know that's awesome.
Yeah, it was I'm telling you, Mo, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. The most outside of the box thing I've ever done.
Ever,
And it was worth
every,
every second, every anxious moment, every stressful, like, okay, I know I say I'm good with change and we take risks a lot, but at 62, I kind of like to plan my day a little bit. I have my calendar set. I kind of know what's to be expected. But on this race, you don't know what you're doing from 1 minute to the next.
wow.
You rip that clue, and that's when you find out what you're doing, where you're going. You pack your backpack and you jump in a car, a plane, a train, a ship, a ferry. Like, you don't know until that moment what you're doing. It's craziness, but it's so
Craziness.
fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. I like want to take my jacket off because I'm sweating with
Yeah.
excitement. But
Yeah.
I will ask, or maybe I'm having a hot sweat. I will ask Soraya, you know, you're so generous with sharing lessons and insights. What would be the biggest lesson that you learned from this experience on a personal level?
The thing about this show is they want to know what your intention is. How are you
Mhm.
going to inspire Canadians? Because Canadians connect with the teams on the show. So they
They
want to
do.
know what do you have to bring to the table? So even before I said yes, I had to really think about this and be very intentional. Why would I even go on this show? It's not just about the business. I mean, come on, like, look at me. I am a covered woman. I have restrictions. I don't drink alcohol. We don't eat pork. I gave them all these I cover. So if there's any, potential swimming or water sports, I told them I don't uncover my body. Like, I basically gave them every opportunity to say, okay, you know what, you're probably not a good fit for the show.
Mhm.
But they accommodated everything that I requested. And for me, and I'm probably might get a little emotional here, but it was really about, and I told them, I really want to represent my culture, my faith, because there's so much propaganda out there. There's so many myths about who we are. I
Mhm.
want people to see that we are normal like everybody else. We like to go and race across Canada. We like to be, to be close to people and to interact with everyone and to share and to be honest and to have fun. And I really want to represent and show other Muslim women that, you know what, why not? Yes, I'm kind of the oddball out, but why not try it? And just
Mm.
try to represent your faith, try not to compromise, and be who you want to be. And honestly, it was such a great experience to be able to do that and to inspire other women. Forget about just the Muslim women, it's women that are grandmothers,
Yeah.
mothers. I want my granddaughters. I have 5 granddaughters. I want them to say, if my grandma could do that, I can do it. And we actually, just a little quick story, when I was in Dallas visiting them, and I knew that we had applied, but didn't know we were going to be on it. Took them to this fun place that had a zip line and this massive slide. And they're young, they're like 7 and 9. And they were too scared to try the zip line. I said, come on, if grandma tries it, will you try it? We'll sit deep, we could say. They said, yes, if you do it, we'll do it. I've never zip lined in my life. So I
But
go on
not
this,
with.
it's not that big, it's more for the kid, but I go on the zip line and it was hilarious. I had a harder time getting out of the foam uh, thing that you fall into than doing the zip line. So they did it because I did it. And the same thing,
Oh, wow.
slide, I go down this slide where you just fly up. I was so scared and plop down on this air mattress. So just to show them that just because I'm your grandmother, just because I am whatever, a certain age, it doesn't mean that
Wow.
we can't do these things.
There's another example. You know, ordinary humans, extraordinary humans doing, moving beyond the comfort zone to show and to inspire others that anything is possible. And it's powerful when you've got future generations watching closely.
Yeah. Now, I have no idea what these episodes are going to look like, and I'm sure going to be a lot of embarrassing moments, but
Hey,
it was
no,
just so much fun. It
wow.
was,
Thank you. I'm glad you shared it because I asked you not too recently, like within the last few
oh,
days, and we couldn't get anything out of you. But you heard it here first, everyone.
that's
You're
right.
here with Surria Fadel. Keep that name in mind and check it out. And I think early July is the go day for this summer reality, Canada's most popular reality show. And you'll be seeing more and hearing more and learning from Soraya. Um, let's talk. If I may, I want to ask one question. You mentioned about, again, purpose and family and faith and community and values, all of which you have lent great stories and examples of. I want to connect that to entrepreneurial journeys.
Mm.
They come with moments of uncertainty, of incredible change, challenge, failure, um, you know, challenges with your own self belief, community cheering you on or telling you it's possible. Come on, grandma. Like sometimes it's got to take. It's like, well, if you do it, I'll do it. And you're like, ooh, okay, I better do it, especially when no one's watching. But what would you say um, would be you talked about a lot about, greatest lessons. What would you say would be one of your greatest lessons you've learned along the way through the greatest challenges you faced? And how has that shaped you as a leader?
I think really important in my journey was that moment where I figured out what my why is. Because if you
Mm,
know your why, it makes the journey a heck of a lot more doable. I won't say easy because it's never easy, but it makes it more doable in the sense where you will be able to get through those difficult moments and pull your socks up and keep moving on. You really have to know why you're doing what you're doing. So be very intentional. Um, and if you're super passionate about what you're doing, that whole imposter syndrome or self-doubt or whatever it is that you're going through at those times will kind of be brushed to the side. And if you're super passionate, the passion will take over and allow you to keep going and plugging through to continue on that journey.
mm.
It's really all about intention and not doing things just because.
Yep, absolutely. I always like to say, when you know your purpose, the path will appear, and then the passion you have is kind of like the gas you put in your vehicle
Yeah,
that will take you along that path, right? And one
100%.
without the other. And for those that are listening in and you think, well, I don't know if I know my why, I don't know if I know my purpose, go to your passion because imagine getting up in the every day, and if you could do just what you're most passionate about, it leads you to your purpose. Wouldn't you? Don't you agree?
I 100%. And then, one of the other issues too with that, so your passion, you start to go along that path, but part of our problem as women too is that we are so guilt-ridden that we put ourselves last because of everyone else around us. And I think that's another challenge that, if I could say one other thing that is really important for women that want to take that journey, is it's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first and try to go along that journey. And you know what? Others will understand. And if they don't, then oh well, like at some point you got to put yourself ahead in the bus and say, this is my turn, this is my time.
Mhm.
I'm going to give this a try and no one's going to get in my way. Another female entrepreneur that I met along the way said, she told her husband, I'm getting on this train and it's moving fast. So either get out of the way or get on the train.
Get on the train or get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask you about what would why do you like mentoring leaders, especially women? I think one of them is imparting lessons. I know for me, it's like I learned it, so I want to share it to help others find their path and perhaps save them the hard lessons along the way. But would you have a piece of advice for the women that you mentor, especially with starting businesses midlife or beyond? What would be one piece of advice that you would share?
I would say ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, nice.
Don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid question. That's how we learned how to grow this business. We didn't care who it was, whether it was a vendor at the downtown farmers market or a retail buyer, Sobeys, right? The Sobeys manager, anybody along the way. Made a lot of calls to the ministries, food safety, all this stuff. Google search whatever you need,
Yeah.
and then ask all the different sectors, question after question after questions. I would harass people to learn. Is how else do you learn? Because there's no real book on how do you do all these things from A to Z. So
Until Surria writes one.
Surround yourself with people that have been there, done that, and try not to reinvent the wheel.
Right. And in doing so, surrounding yourself, you lift each other up. I know that we do that for each other, and you don't even know the day you feel like you need lifting up, but as it turns out, it might just be showing up. You lift others up when you don't realize that they needed you, that whatever it was that you said, or just showing up with that contagious empathy and energy that you have, and just how you've helped so many women. I watched you receive your Women Entrepreneur of the Year award, and it was just a mic drop moment, followed by tons of applause, because everybody just related to your story, because you're so generous in how you share, your lessons and how you reinvented yourself. But beyond that, at the heartbeat, you really helped inspire people to go back to what brought them into their profession to begin with, their why, their purpose, and then inspiring them through your experiences and your lessons. It's amazing. And I get such a, I don't know. It's like, I get such a thrill out of watching how women rise when we all are together. And even if we don't think we're together. And I loved what you said, be curious, ask questions. That is so, and in doing so, you're learning, but also asking questions. You're turning it around. You're actually acknowledging for the person that you are truly interested in their knowledge, their information, and who they are as an individual.
No ego at all. And that's the only way you're going to learn and grow. Just throw the ego out the door. And then with that, you make a lot of great relationships.
Oh, yeah. And it is. I just witnessed you most recently, and the relationships you have, and whether you pick up on them years later because you've been busy, it's like back to the days where we all got to hang out together. It's so amazing.
Special.
And,
very
it's great. I could talk to you for so much longer, but we do have to wrap. Surria, I just want to, in closing, say I believe that our greatest strength doesn't come from staying in one lane. It really comes from having the courage to evolve, to reinvent ourselves, to continue to serve with purpose. How so much of our conversation's been around that. And and that's exactly what you've done. Your journey reminds us that age gives no limitation. There's never a finish line. And I know that so many will be inspired, especially those that may have put their dreams on the side table or the bedside table as they go to bed at night, thinking, if only I could, or if only la 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 la. Well, now they know. So I'm so grateful that you shared this. Also, to remind everybody that every chapter of our lives prepares us for what's next, right? From fitness to food. Look at that.
And it might go back to fitness one day. Who knows?
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But wherever it lands, you're serving people by providing healthy food choices. And congrats on being the official snack of the OHL. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see you on the amazing race. All right, friends. Well, before I sign off and say goodbye to this incredible individual, Surria Fadel, I just want to say that as I shared in my June message to my community through my blog, we all have moments in life when we are called to embrace change, to step into uncertainty, trust the next chapter, and know that perhaps the most meaningful one is yet to come. So I hope that you have connected with my blog. I know there's no doubt you've connected with what you've heard today. Surria is a beautiful reminder that reinvention is not about becoming someone new. It's about becoming more of who you've always been. So thank you, Surria, for your story, your wisdom. Oh my gosh, and just your light. And thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me, Mo. It's always fun to be with you and to chat.
Oh, well, until next time, everyone, um, I'm going to ask you two questions. What dream have you put on hold? What new chapter is waiting for you? Ask yourself that question. What dream have I put on hold? What new chapter is waiting for you? And until next time, this has been A Moment with Mo and Surria Fadel, where every moment has the power to move us closer to whom we're meant to be. And these are stories shared that help us all keep moving forward. Thank you, everyone.